SageRbusiness.com podcast with Tony Rourke and Kevin O'Flaherty.
SageRbusiness.com, making you money.
Share it on Facebook, share it on LinkedIn, Twitter.
Our blogs, YouTube videos, listen to our podcast, getting so hot that it's burning up the stereo.
Welcome to the SageRbusiness.com podcast. My name is Kevin O'Flaherty from O'Flaherty Law, and I'm joined today by Sandra Lumpkin from West Suburban Showcase. Our topic today is going to be branding. Thanks so much for joining me today, Sandra.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me here. I appreciate it.
So tell me a little bit about your business and what you do and how you help people.
Okay. West Suburban Showcase, we basically started in 2004 so that we could be an assistant to other like new businesses or even large businesses that are already in existence. But it's all about branding and getting your name out there so that people recognize who you are. And after the branding happens, then they need to be able to like you and want to do business with you. So that's what the West Suburban Showcase does. We work alongside of businesses, business owners, your marketing department, and so forth to help you with promoting your business.
So if I were to sit down with you and you basically have a first meeting about branding my business, how does that meeting go? And what sort of information do you gather, and what's the process of working with you like?
Great question. The first thing that I would like to do as a branding strategist is to come to your place of business, or if you have a home business, at least some information about your website that I can actually go on and view to see what type of colors you have and just kind of get a feel of who you are and what it is that you're trying to promote your business. You want a certain message to be portrayed with your business, and different products can do that for you.
Okay. Are there particular types of colors that you recommend using or not using for people that people tend to like, or that consumers tend to, get a favorable impression from?
Well, bright colors are always exciting. Usually when you show up with like hot pinks or lime greens and things like that, people are more susceptible to notice you because you are definitely a little bit different than people with the black or, your darker colors and so forth that are just kind of blending in with their surroundings.
So is the first step in branding, once you've kind of seen what your customer is and what they're doing, is the first step then kind of creating a logo?
Yes. A lot of my clients already have a logo, or they have an idea as to what kind of logo that they want. So I'll just take, for example, a client that has no logo but have an idea. I can work with my customers to do that. I don't have an extensive background in graphic design. However, I'm pretty good at it, self-taught, and just, did some reading up on it and so forth. I took a few classes in the industry so that I could become more familiar with logos and how they connect with actual printing in different ways, because logos print differently on different items. And the background to all of that is the type of file that you want to use. And I'm there also to kind of help my clients to know what type of file that they need to have. That's really a huge thing, though, because a lot of people will have, like, say, a JPEG file and think that they could just get all of these things made. But that's not so. You'll find that some printers will say, okay, yeah, we'll take the JPEG. However, they have to recreate it into a file that is usable for printing, a vector file. That's the industry word. And for the most part, they'll charge you for it, but you won't know that because it'll just kind of blend right into the price. So that's one of the things that I also do. I help the client to create the logo and kind of give them some pointers on cost as associated with putting things on products. I actually have something here I just want to show you really quick,
Sure.
just to kind of give you an idea as to what I mean. This is just a bag, and as you can see, it's got a bunch of colors on it. That can be a little bit more costly than it would be if you just printed something that only had one color on it. Because then your artwork also has to be broken down as well into all of those different screens in order to do the color.
Okay. So when you talk about vector files, basically what a
Mhm.
vector file is something that you can expand or shrink without distorting
Absolutely.
the image. Okay.
Absolutely. Because a JPEG, which is what most people are familiar with, if you try to expand it, make it larger, you'll start to lose resolution. Whereas with a vector file, you can make it as small as something that you would use on a button or expand it to something as big as a billboard.
Okay.
And I can also help my clients with billboards as well as signage and banners and that kind of thing as well.
And so the creation of the vector file is why you wouldn't really want to just try to make your own logo, in Paint Shop or something, because you actually need some probably skill or at least some special programs to create that vector file and be able to put your logo on all your things, right?
Yeah, yes. Vector files are created usually like in an Adobe Illustrator, Corel Draw you can do, and there's some other, not necessarily like super highly professionals, that you can use, some programs that you can actually use to create this file. I know there's even some products out there, Logo Works I've heard, that can help you to create pretty much simple logos for your business as well. And so, like I said, that's something that I can actually help my customers with. So we can totally skip the Logo Works site completely, and I can help them to create a vector file for their business.
And along with that file, you kind of give an indication of what the color scheme is, right? The code for the colors, rather than, when I first started, I tried to do my own logo, and I was just kind of trying to, guess what color looked like the colors I'd used in the past.
Yeah.
But you actually will kind of give it. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's some sort of portfolio of here's all the information you need, printer, in order to
Yes.
use this logo, right?
Yes, it's called the PMS chart. I think that's what you're referring
Yes,
to. That PMS chart is basically it's a national color scheme or plan or what have you that lists all the colors by number.
Okay.
And you can have a PMS number. Let's just say this is PMS number 225 in a pink. Excuse me, 235. Actually, I looked this up yesterday, so I happen to know. It's a 235 in a pink. However, sometimes you'll get people, suppliers who will have product that may be in a 225 in a pink. And sometimes, you kind of adjust because it's their standard color.
Sure.
So you'll just go ahead and use that, which is also the difference as well. If someone just goes online and try to order product, they may not understand what standard colors are versus having your exact PMS, because we do have a lot of businesses, the larger companies, I'm sure Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and those kind of companies, they don't settle for what the standard color is. It must be a certain PMS color because you want your branding to be consistent.
Sure.
In everything that you do.
So what are some, now you've got your logo and you've got your color picked out, what's the next step in effective branding that you advise people?
Well, the next step I would say would be to just kind of internalize the types of items that you want your logo to represent. And again, I have a
why
mug
don't
here.
you show me some of your stuff?
Just
here?
show
I know
you
you're
some of
dying
my
to
stuff. I
show
know.
some.
Well, I mean, I didn't mind just kind of going through it one by one as we go through it. PPA Chicago happens to be the industry that I belong to. It's a Promotional Products Professionals of Chicago.
Okay.
So basically, depending on the type of event that you're going to do. So a lot of people will use ink pens, and of course, ink pens have pretty much been overused. They're so inexpensive that people just feel like they can just, use a pen because this is all I have in my budget.
Sure.
But again, with me, West Suburban Showcase, I could help you with, items to fit your budget. That's not just some general item that everyone will show up at an expo with. You're trying to promote your business. So you want to kind of think about the type of event that it is. If it's an outdoor event, if it's a running event or something like that, you might even consider doing a mug or something, so that when the people are coming, they'll have something to put their water in, or even a water bottle with a full color display of your logo and so forth. And there's just so many different things that you can do to even complement with what someone else is doing. For example, if someone else is bringing the water bottles, they're going to have them. Then there's also a clip that maybe the runners or the walkers in like, say, a 5K can actually take a clip and clip their water bottle onto a totally logoed a piece that has your information on it. And if it's a really cool and usable utility item, most people will keep those, and they'll always have your contact information with them.
So is that the trick, is to find something that people aren't just going to throw away?
He said trick. Promotional branding is not a trick. Actually, I thought about that the other day, because, you kind of think about with branding, you have to be creative. So, some people might use the word trick, but that's such a harsh word.
Oh, I didn't mean it in that sense.
I know, I understand.
Is that the key, I guess?
Well, when you say trick, you want to try to get the person who's looking at your product, you want to get their brain to accept the fact, or at least envision me using this product for other things. And that's why the ink pen became so popular, because everyone uses an ink pen. Sometimes it's not so much as that it's an ink pen, but that, what's on it. Sometimes an ink pen can have like a loyalty phrase on it, so that the potential customer would have to have that number the next time they called on them, and they would give them a discount or something like that on a product. So that will keep their branding in front of them.
So you put right on the pen that, if you call up and use this phrase, you get a discount.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I haven't heard that idea
Absolutely. Before. So you've taken a 25-cent pen and you've differentiated yourself from the other people who may be at an event exhibiting as well, because now it might be just a simple plastic pen that most people will put in a cup holder and let anybody take away. But now I want to hold on to that pen, because, now I need that number or whatever's written on that pen to get my discount the next time I call on that person.
No, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah,
idea.
That's one of my tricks to the trade.
the trick.
That trick word.
So what are the kind of the top items that you find to be really effective for people?
I would probably say ink pens, but in the world of T-shirts and apparel, let me tell you, that is really one of the big ones. Is one of my biggest sellers that I work with my clients with, T-shirts, because T-shirts come in all types of designs, and to actually embroider on them, or to screen print on them, or this new digital full color sublimation. I mean, there's so many new and exciting processes.
What's full color sublimation? I've never heard of
Oh
those.
my goodness. It goes like directly into the fabric of the T-shirt. So if you notice, like, if you can just feel like this, you can feel that was like heat pressed on there. Although heat press shirts are, still very popular, but it will, like, the ink will just go right into the fabric, and it's still full color, and there's no screen charges and that kind of thing. The ink just goes directly onto the fabric to put your logo or any type of a special saying that you have, and so forth.
So how do you use T-shirts effectively as a marketing tool? Because owning a law firm, I can't picture giving out T-shirts to my clients and actually having them want to wear it around.
Right.
Maybe. But how do people, once they've got the cool stuff, how do they actually get it out to people and have people use it? Good
question again. What I found is that, as you said, a lot of people, you feel like, don't want to wear, my T-shirt to just advertise for me. But what you do is co-brand with another event that's going on. Just like I mentioned earlier, if someone is doing a 5K run and so forth, of course, then you would actually work with the company, whoever is promoting this particular run. You can work with them and be the person who actually provides the T-shirts for the event. So now everyone is running around with T-shirts with your law firm information right on the actual T-shirt. So yeah, co-branding it's a really big thing. A lot of people kind of overlook it because they're they're more interested, or I shouldn't say more interested, don't realize the opportunity that you can have to co-brand with someone. And if you don't mind, I can give you one other example of co-branding,
Please.
which is awesome. So you might want to write this down. Coffee shops. Local coffee shops in Downers Grove. I'm sure there's, smaller chains other than your Starbucks, who have those little cup holders that they cover. It's like it's a paper.
Yeah, so you don't burn yourself on
Exactly,
the cup.
so that you don't burn yourself. That's a supply that they use, right? So every time someone purchases a cup of coffee, guess what? They're going to get one of those sleeves.
Sure.
Why not co-brand with that local coffee shop and ask them, because that's in their budget. They have to purchase those sleeves. If they don't purchase those sleeves, they're not going to sell a cup of coffee.
Will a
right?
big chain like Starbucks go for something?
No,
like
I
that?
wouldn't
So
go
it's
for
gotta be a mom and
Starbucks.
pa
It
cup-
would,
cup
yeah,
shop.
I would definitely go after a mom and pop. But who knows? Starbucks might be interested.
It's
You never
unfortunate.
know.
My office
You
is
never
above a
know.
Starbucks. The light bulbs are going off in my head.
So yeah, so you would actually have the sleeves printed with your law firm on there, and so whenever someone comes to get a cup of coffee, guess what? There's your law firm listed right on that cup of coffee.
So what other cool ideas? Because you guys,
I'm
you
getting
piqued
you
my
up.
interest.
I got
now.
your
Yeah.
interest piqued.
What other
That's
cool ideas do you have?
You know what? This is why I love my career. I love what I do because it's always something that someone can use to promote themselves, sometimes in subtle ways, sometimes in more creative ways. And, it's just limitless with the things that you can do, with this business. The city of Chicago recently, on August 1st, they stopped the plastic bags. Are you familiar with that? Well, you're
No.
a lawyer. Come on, you got to know about this.
No, tell me about it.
Yes, the city of Chicago, the stores in the city of Chicago can no longer use plastic bags.
Okay.
And now they're trying to get you to purchase the paper bags and so forth whenever you go to the store.
So the bags are extra now at the
So
store?
the bags are extra. And everybody's into recycle, right? Why not donate bags at the next event? Any event. It doesn't matter what event it is. You're just, going to a local chamber expo or just going to even a leads group meeting or whatever you're doing, because everybody shops. I don't care what kind of a business you're in and you're the CEO or whatever. Somebody in your family is going to go for the groceries or something like that, right? So you want to pet not this little tiny little shopper, but the big grocery sacks
Sure.
that they have. And these are non-woven. These are really used for reuse because, the recycle, reuse, and that kind of thing. So you give these bags out and people will have these bags in their car because they can't use the plastic bags. So now they're pretty much forced to have their own bag because other than that, they have to pay for one. So now are they going to throw that bag away? No, for one, it's a recycle bag. And for number two, they don't want to have to buy a bag every time they go to the grocery store. So they're going to consistently want to keep these bags in the car. Unlike before this ban, you could if you want to. Yeah, you really didn't have to, but now you pretty much have to unless you want the expense of buying bags every time you go to the store.
You have further validated my decision to live in the suburbs.
Hey, let me tell you, some of those bands actually come to the suburbs sometimes. You never know.
So
You never know.
I have to know what this is, this white Capitol Dome looking. Is that just something to stick on your desk?
Well,
it's a stress ball.
It's a stress ball, actually. And I brought this one just to show customization. It doesn't have to just be a ball anymore. It can actually be the shape of a church that was just built, or if a new company came into the neighborhood. So these could be totally custom into any shape that you want. And again, like you notice, it is a stress ball.
Okay, cool. Are there any? Do you ever have a client come to you and say, "I want to do this as a promotional campaign"?
Mhm.
Are there any bad ideas that you've heard where you say, "You know what? that's something that I haven't seen work very well in the past. Try this instead.
Not really, because you could pretty much go any direction that you want with promotional products, because as I mentioned before, it's all about creativity and doing something totally different. You can take one item and do something else with it. I have a client, for example, who uses bank deposit bags for school supply, the pencils, the pencil holders. So they use that. So they've taken one product and they've totally used it for something else. So if a school would have walked up to me and said, Sandra, I want to order some bank deposit bags, I probably would have said, no, that's not a good fit for you. But the fact that they want to use it as a pencil case, for their students, it's actually an awesome idea.
So it's basically what people are going to use and what they're going to hold on to. How do you go about finding your customers? How do you bring the business into yourself?
Good question again. I started off with just simply doing business with people that I do business with. For example, I started when my children were really small, so they were in preschool. So my preschool did T-shirts. So I just asked for the order,
Okay.
Again, like I mentioned before, people want to do business with people that they like. So I'm a mom. My kids are here in the school, and they can pretty much go wherever they want to go for T-shirts. So they gave me the business. So as I moved along and the children went into the elementary level, again, same thing, joined the PTA, and now I'm getting referrals. People know what I do, and I'm getting PTA orders, and I'm getting the general school orders, and so it just kind of went on from there. I'm a member of the Lombard Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And so I get referrals from them. I get actual chamber members to do business with me. It's all about showing up.
Getting involved in the community is
Yes,
huge.
getting
for any
involved with the
business.
community. West Suburban Showcase, also speaking of getting involved in the community, that was one of our first endeavors, really. We did an expo because I noticed a lot of people coming to me whenever they wanted to do ink pens or whatever it was that they were doing so that they can go to an expo to promote themselves. They would ask me that question. Do you know of any other places that we can go? And a lot of times the answer was no, because I really didn't know. But they helped me to realize I should probably find out where the next expos are, so that I can at least tell my clients where they can go to showcase their products. So the West Suburban Showcase decided to be an expo itself. So that's what we did. We went to the what was the name of the place? To the Fairfield Inn and Suites
Okay.
in Lombard. They were a chamber member at the time, and of course they gave me a nice discount to be there. And basically, I just sold exhibit space to different people, community members, and we turned it into more than just show up and exhibit, your wares. We turned it into also more like an educational experience. We had speakers on different topics and
Wow.
so forth that were there. We even had a little entertainment in that I had worked with a dance school that was in Lombard, and they came and they did a presentation. So it was kind of a win-win. I got, someone to come and do entertainment at the expo, as well as they got an opportunity to show the community who they were and the type of skills that some of their students actually possess.
It sounds like quite an
So-
endeavor to put on an expo.
It totally was, which is why it went from every year to every 2 years, and now I'm not really sure when the next one is going to
every decade.
something like that.
I bet you got a lot of business out of that though, because everyone that's coming probably needs some gear to give away.
Yes, everyone who comes, except for some people who actually make a product themselves, a lot of them didn't necessarily use a promotional product. But let me tell you the flip side of even that, because a lot of people don't realize that business cards is a promotional item that the West Suburban Showcase can certainly supply them with.
Okay.
So brochures, business cards, all those types of things that, like I said, even if a person makes the item and they just want to pass it out, they still need a business card. They still need a retractable banner. They still need, things to help promote their business.
You can help me maybe resolve an internal dispute at my office.
Uh-oh.
On my business card, I've got my picture on it because okay. I want people to, remember what I look like when they meet me. The attorneys that I work with think that's, kind of cheesy to put a picture on, and they refuse to put the pictures on their business cards. Where do you come down on pictures on business cards in professional service industries?
Interesting. Okay.
And you can be honest.
See, now that you put professional services industry on there, it makes it sound kind of, standoffish, and they can't have any fun.
Right, and that's what I'm trying to avoid.
Anybody can have some fun. It's a personal preference. Totally, it's a personal preference. I personally, my business cards, you will find my photo on it.
Oh, that makes me feel better.
Yes, I'm glad because there's a lot of people that do what you do. There's a lot of people that do what I do. I want to give my potential next client a business card that's going to have my face on it because I want you to remember me. Oh, yeah, this was the young lady I met at the whatever. And they can associate whether or not they had a good time, whether I said something funny, or maybe I was absurd and they don't want to do business with me. Well, hopefully not the latter. But, that's why I want people to see my photo on my business card. I'm totally an advocate for that. So I think you're doing a good thing, and you're separating yourself from them. Some people who have become older in age tend to not want to because, their hair is gray, like mine, but, or whatever the reason. Some people have gained maybe some weight and they don't want to take a photo. And I totally get that. Sometimes you can even use a pet on a photo, a cute little dog.
Totally on your business card.
Yeah, totally on your business card. And people will remember you by that.
Okay. What's if someone wants to kind of brand themselves as young and hip and progressive, and again, sometimes these podcasts turn into initial consultations for me. But if let's say you're hypothetically in the legal industry and you don't want to come off like a stodgy lawyer, what are some tips for having a exciting branding that makes you seem cutting edge?
There's so many things that you can do, and I would say start with color. Okay. Colors that pop. One of the things that I say is go from gray to hey.
I like that.
Yeah. So, you want to stand, aside from everyone else. You want to pop. You want people to recognize you. And when people see color makes people feel good, or they become really interested and they have no idea what it is that you even sell or do. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they see the colors, they're standing out, they're popping, they're saying something to them, they're inviting them over. And people have the tendency to want to come over there, let's just say at an expo. There's so many ideas that I can give you for standing out from the next lawyer that's standing next to you. Like you said, be more vivacious and more interesting, more youthful feeling, that kind of thing. With things that make noise, if you have something like that, for example, a spin the wheel. Okay. I did this even before I said it. A spin the wheel makes that click, 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 click noise.
Okay.
So I can be over at another exhibit and I hear that noise and I want to know where that noise is coming from. And then I see a bunch of people standing in line waiting just to spin the wheel.
Is it kind of like you spin it for a prize?
You spin it for a prize. You spin it for a coupon. You spin it for whatever. And most of the time, people don't really even care what it is. They get the opportunity to spin the wheel. It's making noise. Me, myself, personally, I'm clapping, because that's just the person that I am. And I totally suggest this to my clients as well. Don't just have a spin the wheel. Make it fun. Make people want to come over. I have these little clappers that you can use as well to make noise. So you want something that people are going to be attracted to. I can pick up another product as well. I know you said this light wasn't going to do well
you
for
can
TV.
Flip it on as long as it's not going the whole product.
If you're going to be doing an event at night, these are awesome. night walks
So
and that kind of
it's
thing.
a flashing globe.
It's
for
a
those
flashing
of you who are
globe,
listening.
and either
It looks like it hangs around your neck.
you can hang it around your neck. Some people after the fact can use it to go on walks
Okay.
when they're walking their dog at night.
Oh, so you don't
And you
get
want
hit by
the
a
cars
car.
to
Yeah.
see you. Absolutely. So you can go from being the life of a party or being at an expo to I can use this later to do something that I'm going to need later, like walking my dog or just walking myself at night.
Okay.
Wanted to just get
That's
some.
cool. I like that idea.
Yeah. So there's
I see
more
you
than
brought
one
some more
ways.
toys here. What else do you have?
Well, this is a really popular one. This is it's a portable charger.
Okay.
And of course, there's the opportunity there to put your logo or whatever on there, and it just simply hooks up to your phone with a cable, of course, that they come with every phone, and you just put the USB in.
How much does ballpark one of those cost?
About $10.
Really?
About
Wow.
$10, and that's also with a one color logo on there.
Yeah,
These
that's
are really
something people
nice.
would use.
No one is going to throw this away. I guarantee
Yeah.
you, they're not going to throw it away. And a lot of times, they're not even going to loan it to anyone because you might not get this back.
Yeah.
So that leads me to another point. A lot of people want to go with low cost items. Sometimes when you do higher end items, those are the ones that people will hold on to the longest, and your contact information is always there in their face.
So do you have any other advice you want to share with the listeners about branding or anything else?
Well, there's so much. I would say that to use someone like what I do, my service, would certainly be something that they should consider. And I might add that I don't charge for my service. You only pay for what you purchase in the form of the promotional items.
So the advice comes free, huh?
The advice comes free. So
That's
everything
great.
that I've shared with your podcast audience is all free of charge. It's the kind of thing that I do when I work with a client one-on-one, to just kind of take them through the steps a little bit faster than they would if they had to do a lot of these things on their own. Another good thing for what I do for my clients is the fact that they can continue to do what they do to run their business. Whereas with me, they can contact me and say, Sandra, I need 250 of these things with my logo. Well, I already have your logo archived, in my files. So I could just go directly to it. You can tell me, Sandra, I have a price point of about $12. What can you find for me? And then I do all the work. You're not on the internet searching day in and day out for things because, granted, I'm doing this every day. So I already know where the $12 items are. I already know where the $8 items are, because my suppliers are constantly contacting me with specials and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of times you really can't find things on the internet that I can't find and get for you either at the same price or even better if I really want to work
Well,
with
and
you.
it seems like, just the things I've learned today would be worth not, getting the stuff off the internet.
Yeah.
Even if you weren't able to save me money, which it sounds like you can,
Yes.
just having, it seems like it's all in the idea and
Yes, yes.
having good ideas and
Yes.
someone with experience guiding you in
Absolutely.
how to use those ideas. I wouldn't have thought to do the coffee cup holders or,
Yes.
know. So I appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us today.
Absolutely.
How can
That's what I
how
do.
can people reach you if they want to hire you?
Okay. I have a website as well as, of course, a telephone number
Give them both.
and an email address that they can reach me. Again, my name is Sandra Lumpkin, and the name of the business is the West Suburban Showcase. And we could be reached at www.westsuburbanshowcase.info. Not .com, not .net, but .info, INFO, westsuburbanshowcase.info. And my email address is the same, westsuburbanshowcase@comcast.net. And my telephone number is area code 630-261-1290.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. You did a great
Well,
job.
thank you.